So how's the day off?
I don't know. Watched a lot of soccer. Watched a lot of tape, watched a lot of film. So I think I sat down at my desk at about 10 and took a little break to have something for lunch and took a little break for dinner and got off my desk at 8. So that's my day off. So,
With,
but it's normal.
with some relative break in the schedule that is one game weeks and seems like relative health, are you going to be able to finally get a look at something close to your first 11 for a while now?
I mean, I think obviously the group that started against Galaxy, was at that point, what we felt was our best group going into that game. And obviously Tifford now is getting more minutes, with the group and with the team and had a start in San Jose. So, we'll see how it mixes together this week. Got to get through the week of training and see what's the best combination that makes sense going into the game with Vancouver.
And what's kind of the implication of Zakawani being able to go 90 minutes in just a reserve game?
Well, it was good for him just to get the minutes in. It's good for his fitness and so forth. We switched him between playing wide and up front. And so a lot of those times he dropped in the midfield. And obviously the result wasn't a good one for us, mainly because we were trying to get him 90 minutes. And we also ended up having to play a bunch of young guys and so forth. But, it was good. There were periods within the game where you could see his explosion. And, that I think helped his confidence level, knowing that he could explode past people. And he's playing against guys like Kari Stevenson and Bellucci and Corrales and guys like that, that have a lot of minutes, Opara, people like that. So I think that helped his confidence. And, was he a 90-minute fit player? No, but it was good to get 90 minutes on him.
He'd also been on the bench a couple times, I guess, last few weeks or so. I mean, is that an implication of something him being even closest to him?
Well, it had an implication from the standpoint of him being closer, but also, personnel-wise, you want to have so many attacking players on your bench as well, so you have some options there. And, he was the option that came to the forefront there. So, he's done well enough to push himself into that. But I think this is another good week for him, a good week of training. There's another reserve game coming up. If he doesn't get first game minutes, so it's another opportunity for him to refine his game a little further.
When you're putting together a lineup like you did, say, for San Jose, how much is that different from maybe it would have been 10 or 15 years ago in terms of how much of it is coaching instinct, how much of it is the new numbers and quantifications that you didn't used to have?
Oh, I don't think it would have been much different. I mean, the numbers for me sometimes just verify what you see, so you sort of observe and subjectively you have some feelings and sometimes objectively they back up those feelings. Sometimes the numbers don't back up your subjective feelings, so you re-look at it. It could be in a positive way, it could be in a negative way. So you sort of re-look at it, rethink it a little bit. But, the only thing that's really changed, I think, when you look back over the years is that the depth of squads wasn't as big, so you really sometimes couldn't afford to make changes because you look at, we made a number of changes in the San Jose game and, we were there. We could have walked away with a tie, 1-1 against the best team in the league at the moment when you look at points and a team that hadn't played in 2 weeks. So, that was fresh and sharp and fit. So, we were able to put out, a number of, it wasn't our first choice lineup per se, let's say like that, and we were in the game, from A through Z. So from that standpoint, that's something we couldn't do years ago because teams didn't have that depth.
You had a lot of players in that lineup that play similar styles, but were in different roles with Evans, Rose, and Tifford. How do they fit together? How do them playing in different spaces give you options in the future?
Well, it gives us options. I mean, Evans has shown that he can play in the middle of midfield. He can play wide right. He's played right back for us as well. Tifford, I think, can play anywhere, can play outside midfield, can play inside midfield, could play underneath the striker, as he did in the game in San Jose. So he gives us options. Rose is more of a central guy, although we pushed him wide right one game and he did all right there. So I think he's understanding that better as well. I mean, it's different. Obviously, him playing wide right or Evans playing wide right is different than Rosales playing wide right. The interpretation of the position's a little bit different, but the tactics, you gain something. Maybe they're a little bit better defensively there, a little less creative offensively. Maybe they're more guys who get on the end of things offensively there rather than guys who create things offensively there. So it changes it a bit, but they're it definitely gives us options having players that can play different positions.
What has Alex Kasky shown you to kind of garner as much playing time as he's gotten over the last little bit?
He's just an alert player. He's an alert player. He's got, he's got quick feet. He's got a good mind, and he competes. You look at the LA game. I mean, there's not a lot of guys who would have gone into that challenge. Into Saunders, and he went into that challenge. And that helped create a goal for us. And and he was quick of thought. When the ball popped out to him on Eddie Johnson's breakaway, and he was quick of thought and put that away and executed. So he's just a good player. He's worked hard. He's one of those guys. We talked about it today a little bit. There's some players that are very talented at a very young age, and so they really don't understand that you have to perform at practice in order to get time on the field, because they've never had to do that. They're 18 years old or whatever, and they've always been automatics in the lineup because of their ability and skill, and now they get into a competitive situation, and now you got to perform on practice. Well, a guy like Kasky hasn't always been a first choice guy, so he's had to do it by performing at practice, by working hard every day, by showing people what he can do, by staying extra out here now and doing shooting and things like that. So that's what he's done. He's just worked his way into the lineup because he's worked hard every day and shown what he can do.
Do you know when Mario Martinez is expected?
Well, they have a game Wednesday. He got called into the full team, so we thought it was sort of silly to. By the time he got his P1, which was on Friday, it didn't make much sense to fly him up here one day, fly him to San Jose one day, fly him to Seattle the next day, and then fly him back to Miami the next day. So we just had him go with the national team into Miami, and then after they're done on Wednesday, he'll be up here. So he'll be at practice on Friday.
Give your full 90 with the Sounders FC mobile app, featuring live audio, matchday blog and much more to keep you connected. Download your app at soundersfc.com/mobile.